Have you noticed it too? The quiet ones are leaving, not out of anger, not out of defeat. They're just gone. Vanishing from social media, stepping away from noisy jobs, drifting out of friend circles that once defined them. You might think they've given up, but what if they've simply outgrown the noise? What if disappearing is not a sign of weakness, but of awakening? In this video, we're going to explore why some of the most awake, self-aware souls are walking away from the collective world, and how this quiet withdrawal might be one of the most powerful acts of transformation happening in our time. Carl Jung saw it coming long ago. He spoke of the collapse of the persona, the mask we wear for the world, and the birth of the true self beneath it. He spoke of the collective unconscious, the invisible net of shared beliefs and illusions that hold society together, and how, once you see through it, it's almost impossible to stay asleep again. Part 1. The invisible weight of the collective. For most people, their whole lives are spent breathing the air of the collective unconscious, that invisible atmosphere of cultural beliefs and success stories and quiet fears that tell us who we're supposed to be. It shows us what success should be. It tells us what to post, what to wear, which opinions we are allowed to hold, and exactly which dreams are realistic. And most of us swallow it until something breaks from the inside. For some, it's a heartbreak. For others, it's burnout, a spiritual crisis, or simply the sudden realization that they've been living on autopilot. That's when awakening begins. And once that awareness starts growing, you can't unsee what you've seen. The conversations that once entertained you start to feel hollow. The job that once gave you purpose starts to feel like a performance. The world's noise begins to hurt, not because you hate it, but because it no longer fits the rhythm of your soul. This is where many begin to pull away. Part 2. The cracking of the persona. Jung called it the persona, the mask we wear to survive the social world. It's the version of you that knows how to fit in, how to be liked, how to say the right things. But awakening makes the mask unbearable. Because when you start feeling life more deeply, when your values shift, when your heart opens, pretending starts to feel like suffocation. You can't pretend to think phony jokes are funny. You can't chase meaningless goals, and you can't just keep acting a role in a world that worships illusions. The woke person reaches a maturation point, not in the dramatic sense, but in the quiet, internal one. Enough is enough of you pretending to be who you are not. Enough of living for applause. It's time to stop betraying your truth for convenience. So they step back, not because they don't care, but because they finally do. Part 3. The shadow and the burden of seeing. The next stage is what Jung called meeting the shadow. The shadow is everything we deny in ourselves, our jealousy, anger, insecurity, and pain. Most deflect it by projecting onto others. That is why the world is full of blame and outrage and perpetual division. Each side is blaming the darkness that they refuse to confront in themselves. But those who wake up begin to view it differently. They stop judging and start understanding. I know the hate we witness outside is just reflecting the hate that people carry inside. And seeing this deep, almost excruciating clarity becomes a burden. Because once you've faced your own darkness, it's hard to watch a world still fighting its reflection. Social media becomes unbearable, a theater of projections. Every argument looks like a shadow war disguised as a moral debate. You scroll, and you can literally feel the unconscious pain being thrown around like weapons. So you stop scrolling. You stop arguing. You stop trying to fix what can't be fixed from the surface. Instead, you retreat, not to escape the world, but to protect your peace. Part 4. The Hermit Phase. This is where many spiritually awake people move into what Jung referred to as the Hermit Phase. They begin treasuring solitude more than affirmation. The desperation is no longer for attention or approval, it's a thirst now for alignment. To the world, it seems like vanishing. The awakened described it like coming home. And this stage is not about saying no to people or the world. It's about making space to breathe, to hear your own voice again, and maybe start rebuilding your life on truth instead of what you thought was supposed to be. Solitude isn't loneliness. It's the soil where real transformation grows. It's where your inner chaos starts to make sense, where your energy begins to heal, where you learn to exist without pretending. In silence, you rediscover what peace actually feels like. Part 5. The rebirth in solitude. This solitude, as difficult as it feels, is not the end of the journey. It's the preparation for something new. When Jung erected that tower of stone in Bollingen, he wasn't fleeing the world. He was coming to learn how to live from his deeps. He painted, wrote, meditated, listened to the whispers of his unconscious. You see, when you remove yourself from the noise of the world, your internal voice, the one you've been ignoring for decades, begins to speak again. You start to realize what feels important to you. You begin working from truth instead of ego. You start feeling your emotions instead of numbing them. This phase transforms you. It doesn't make you superior, it makes you real. And the beauty is, solitude doesn't last forever. Part 6. The return. There comes a point when the awakened soul begins to re-emerge, but not in the same way. You don't return to the old world to fit in again. You return to serve in your own quiet way. Some come back as artists, expressing the truths they discovered in solitude. Some become teachers, healers, or guides. Others simply live peacefully, no longer needing to be seen to feel alive. Their presence carries depth. Their words carry weight. Their silence carries meaning. When they return, they no longer belong to the collective dream. They live at its edge, holding space for others who are beginning to wake up too. And that's how change happens. Not through loud revolutions, but through quiet evolution. Part 7. The meaning behind the disappearance. So if you've noticed people you admire quietly disappearing, don't assume they've lost their way. Many of them are simply entering this sacred phase of transformation. Their withdrawal is not an escape, it's an initiation, a rebirth. They are peeling the false self, confronting the shadow, and learning to inhabit life without masks. And at some point, they'll come back leaner, smarter, truer, and begin constructing new spaces, new relationships, and new ways to be that will allow the kind of depth they've found. So do the enlightened. They do not struggle with the old world, they outgrow it. Part 8. The invitation. If you're feeling this pull to withdraw, to unplug, to rest, to rebuild, don't resist it. It's not a failure. It's your soul calling you inward. The path of awakening is not about shining out for the world. It's about knowing who you are when nobody else is watching. Your growth doesn't have to be announced. There is no need to justify your value. You shall be eloquent by your silence. Your message will be your peace. So let the noise fade. Let the world keep spinning. And to trust that solitude is not an ending, it's your becoming. If this message resonates with you, share it with someone who might need to hear it today. And if you're walking this quiet path of awakening, know this: you're not alone. You're part of something ancient, something sacred. The disappearance of the awakened is not a loss to the world. It's the world being gently rewritten, one soul at a time.